whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today, but if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on do our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace.
Ho, ho, ho. This is your legal Santa, Gavin Richard, wishing you all a very Merry Christmas and a safe and prosperous New Year. The law offices of Gavin M. Richard, going the distance so that justice may be served. Hi, I'm attorney Gavin M. Richard. Check out my latest book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. For approximately 2 years now, I have gone on a painstaking quest to investigate the rise and fall of an American icon, Bill Cosby. In the mid-1980s, there was not a star that was higher than Cosby. Advertisements with Coca-Cola, Jell-O, Kodak, along with the #1 television show for 5 straight years in a row. On Thursday nights, it was must-see TV on NBC. Cosby resurrected the genre of the traditional family sitcom that was once thought dead by television critics. He did this as a Black American with an all-Black cast and showed mainstream network executives in white America that it was possible to be successful without showing the worst in people. He also demonstrated the power that television had, as it can make younger people dream to be the best that they can be. However, like many celebrity stars, unfortunately, they all come crashing down, sometimes by their own fault, others not so much. In this book, I attempted to highlight certain things. We go in depth into both of his trials in 2017 and 2018, respectively. What if I told you that these criminal trials were politically motivated by an overzealous district attorney? Will you also be shocked to learn the attacks on Mr. Cosby did not start in 2014, but also in the 90s, not long after his attempted quest to purchase a major network? From where did all of these allegations of sexual misconduct come from? Were the accusers telling the truth? In the 2 years of research, with some help from others interested in learning the truth and facts about this case, we discussed both the legal reasons why his prosecution and trial were illegal, unwarranted, and also the possible personal motives as to why this may have occurred. Most importantly, we warn about the dangers of prejudice and why trial by social media, or mainstream media rather, should never be the norm. All this and more in The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. Available on Amazon this fall in Kindle and paperback format.
The place to be is right here with me. on channel GBoo2786. Ladies and gentlemen, whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you're blessed and doing safe. We're getting it in on this week before Christmas. 7 days, 6 days before Christmas, my true love gave to me. Lafayette City Court Judge suspended from the bench. Son kicked off the track team. Kim Potter trial. She testified. Closing arguments set for tomorrow. Biden's no plan to relieve. I have no calling birds for this program and much more. And the Black Voltron in the chat, please. I'm sorry, that's the best I had. But guys, it's good to be with you all tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to some chick named Star, One Who Cares, Black Voltron, who are in the chat. All of you that are watching tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get this started because it is getting late, and I know a lot of you still have plans for the evening. Again, we will. I want you to do a couple of things. Some of you have already ordered this, but I want you to check out NawniesCreoleBlends.com. That is the website for our Creole seasoning blend that our family just started right in our hometown here of New Orleans, Louisiana. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nawnies goes great with every dish, and you can check that out as soon as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, go and order your seasoning now. Also, we have music. I got some new music that I'm going to be working on. So later tonight, I'm going to be laying on some vocals just in time for the holiday to try and get something released soon. That's the next thing I have. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, we have on Spotify and on Amazon and Apple, we have our catalog. Of course, we have got to get on. Why does it do this? Log in. I don't need to log in, damn it. All right. Sorry, guys. Hold on. I hate it when it happens. Okay. All right. We have, of course, Video Soul. Check out Video Soul, ladies and gentlemen. That is the bounce. That is the jam. Of course, if I play it, I'm going to get a copyright strike, just like I'm going to play my other song, which is our theme song, Gotta Get On Up. But go to the Apple Store and buy Video Soul. Go to the Apple Store and get Gotta Get On Up. Somebody told me that you couldn't buy it. I don't understand why, but it should be available for download. But I want you to go and buy it because it's better for me, especially when we're talking about streams. And you all know how shady the music business is. But go ahead and let's get on up and let's get started, ladies and gentlemen.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, because on the dance floor is where we'll be. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the...
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the...
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the
Now, 2020 has been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so, if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be.
feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up
And move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the
Baby, yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up. Baby.
feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Time to get on up. What's up, everybody? Uh, Sorry for not starting on time a little bit. Let's just put it in 3 words: old people, technology, and use your imagination. Now, shout out to Black Voltron, some chick named Star, and a bunch of other people in the chat. One who cares. I'm sure we got more people that are coming in. Yeah, so I was, of course, trying to start this early. What's up, everybody? I've had a busy weekend. It's going to continue to be busy as I'm rounding up the week because I'm trying to clear up deadlines and things I need to before the holidays. So uh, I want to make sure I do all of that. So I may be staying up a little late. Like I said, I want to lay down some vocals for some tracks I'm doing and trying to release it in time for the holiday season. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Y'all hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And hope you all are doing safe and blessed. What's up, Snow? I'm starting late too, because at least I don't conflict with Tariq. So I'm getting people who are coming over. Of course, Black Voltron. I know you're everywhere, whether it's Tariq or Professor Black Truth or Jason Black, some chick named Star, bunch of people. What's up, Vulcan? How y'all doing? Let's get started, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm not going to try and be too late. I want to give a special shout out to Darius from Atlanta, DeAndre Mobley, uh, Loshana Morrison, a couple other people who have ordered their Narnis Creole blends. I want to thank you all for the support and love. What's up, Kid Gravity? What's up, Jacoby from Portland, Oregon? What's up? Finally, today in Louisiana, it got cool. What's up, Derek Bailey? It got cool today, and it's going to be a hot Christmas, mild Christmas, I should say. Not that it's not the first time, uh, but I'm used to. I like to have cold weather for Christmas. That's just me. I don't like it when it's. I don't like cold weather. Period. I don't like hot weather. I don't know. Some people, especially some of our people, we like hot weather. I don't know why. That's not the African in me, I guess. Maybe it's me, the French side in my family that likes the cold, but I like cold weather. Uh, I like it when it's cold. I like to dress up and stuff. Now, of course, with the summer, I like when the girls wear less. But okay, yeah, it is a good time. Except if I got to get up really, really early tomorrow, which I don't. But uh, to go live, yeah, today is great. Let's go ahead, guys, and get started, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, well, at least Jason Black is not live now because sometimes his show will go late, at least over 2 hours. He ended his pretty early. But let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk about this. So I spoke on this earlier. You know, the Lafayette City Court Judge Michelle Odenet, who got caught about a week ago using racial epithets, using the word nigger to describe a burglar that came into her home. Uh, her children did not deny saying it, and her children were caught on tape, apparently saying it as well, or laughing, and even posted that video, allegedly. And I just say alleged because we don't see the individuals, but she admitted that it was her. Well, just this past Friday, the Supreme Court had announced that Judge Odenet, Michelle Odenet, would be removed from the bench, and this is her replacement. Opelousas City Court Judge Vanessa Harris, retired Opelousas judge who's run up all office practice since she retired in 2020. She's been in private practice with the Harris and Harris law firm since 1988. She was the first African American or Black American city court judge in Lafayette. So she is sitting pro temp, what they say is a temporary judge of the District A, while Odenet isn't on investigation. She's a retired St. Landry Parish ADA, and as I stated, she was the former city court judge in Opelousas. So, I don't think it's a coincidence that they had her. It was previously reported that Judge Ronald D. Cox was set to take Odenet's place, and we're learning that since the scandal, Odenet has skipped town. She has skipped town and is on vacation out of the country. So she's spending Christmas in the sand. According to the Louisiana Judicial Council, Judge Harris is a native of Washington, Louisiana. She received her bachelor's of science in computer science from Southern University in 1985. She received her Juris Doctorate in 1988. So shout out to my Southern alum, my fellow alumni, Judge Harris, on this position. She will serve from December 17th through February 28th, 2022, subject to the completion of any unfinished business. Now, that is not the only thing, brothers and sisters. What a lot of people don't know, again, when I mentioned her son, is that Judge Odenet's son, Elijah Odenet, was suspended as well from the LSU Track and Field football team. And this is coming from KLFY News. Ladies and gentlemen, please hit that copyright disclaimer in here. It's being shared for fair use purposes only. We go now to KLFY for the
Elijah Odene was a member of the LSU track team, but in an official statement from LSU, they, quote, have taken Elijah Odene off the LSU active track and field roster, close quote. And a check of LSU's track and field roster shows he is no longer on the squad. The LSU track and field team did issue a statement on their Facebook page. It read, LSU track and field is a diverse group of student athletes, coaches, and support staff, and we respect these differences because they make us stronger. We will never tolerate racism, and we will continue to do our part in the ongoing work towards its eradication, that is, through educating ourselves, engaging with our community, and honoring the distinctions that empower us. Of course, we'll continue to follow this story. George Faust, KLFY News 10.
good. Now, just think of this. You're on a team, LSU track and field. Now, you're on, let's be real about this. Black people make up the athletic departments in the NCAA. Let's be real. 75%, 80% or better of the NCAA, the athletes are black. If it wasn't for black people, you wouldn't have the track and field, you wouldn't have football, you wouldn't have basketball, nothing. Let's just be real about it. So you're on a track and field football team with the LSU Tigers, and truth be told, the Tigers were named after the Confederate regiment in Louisiana. That's how they got that nickname, the Fighting Tigers. Now, I'm not calling for LSU's to remove a mascot or anything like that, because all of that symbolism. I mean, we could say the same thing about countless other mascots that should be taken down. Of course, they removed the Ole Miss. They still call themselves the Ole Miss Rebels, but I remember when they had Colonel Rebel, that was part of their mascots and all of that, which they had to remove. I remember them rioting after Obama won re-election. I remember that, stuff like that. I don't get caught up in all of that shit, because there's a bunch of stuff you could take down. But just imagine you're on a team where you're caught on tape laughing at your mother, saying the N-word, saying nigga, and you're on a team with niggas. There ain't no way your whole team, 90% of your team is black. And you're going to walk up to them after this. How you think they're going to react when they hear that video? And y'all were dumb enough and stupid enough to record it and upload it like you had no care in the world. And I'm looking at the comments. Somebody wrote, the trash takes itself out. Based. Excellent decision for LSU. Thank you for taking a stand against racism. This person wrote, she homeschooled her 4 children. Everyone in the room was casually using slurs. Coincidence. And it's good that we're talking about this with the NCAA, because we all talked about what happened when it comes to athletics and what happened with brother Deion Sanders, and how they're trying to get rid of, they're upset because Deion Sanders got the number 1 prospect in the country. They got the number 1 prospect in the country. Those are the comments that y'all can look at right there. And look at just how people are saying, I told you, this family is doomed. Are they laughing now? I bet not. So LSU had to distance themselves from this as much as they can. So just the older name, the family name, that's just bad news. Now, what I was saying is they're mad with Deion because Deion got that prospect. And I think what Deion Sanders is doing is outstanding because it's helping our HBCUs who traditionally for the last 30 years, and I said this before, don't get laughed at and looked over by mainstream media. And now when you have a NFL Hall of Fame cornerback coaching JSU, someone who's well-known, well-respected in Deion Sanders, he's bringing attention to this division. He's bringing attention back to the SWAC. He is bringing attention back to HBCUs, and more kids are enlisting. You had other people as a result of that. I believe the UCLA quarterback who is actually leaving UCLA to go and join Grambling with your Hugh Jackson, who I believe is supposed to be coming. Quarterback Kalia Hollandway transfers to Grambling 5 days ago, a 3-star quarterback recruit. Now, they had none of this smoke and was talking all shit about Deion and what he was trying to do once he got this prospect. When he came in, remember, they didn't even want to call him coach. He wanted to be called Coach Prime, and he walked out on that racist fat. He walked out on that reporter. Just told him to kiss his ass. Now, they had to distance themselves. Now, I want to play a couple of videos. First off, this is the new judge, Judge Vanessa Harris.
This afternoon, the Louisiana Supreme Court has appointed a retired St. Landry Parish Assistant District Attorney and Opelousas City Court Judge to fill in for suspended Lafayette City Judge Michelle Odenay. In doing so, they have also appointed Lafayette's first Black City Judge. According to the Louisiana Supreme Court, Judge Vanessa Harris will serve as the temporary District 8 judge while Odenay is under investigation. It was previously reported that retired District Judge Ronald D. Cox was set to take Odenay's place. Odenay is reportedly currently out of the country on a vacation that was scheduled before the video surfaced. Cox was only set to fill in for Odenay while she was out of the country. Harris will instead be Odenay's replacement until she either returns to the bench or an election is held to replace Odenay, should she be removed from office.
We now know who will replace Lafayette Parish Judge Michelle Odenay.
Now, what you're going to see here is an order. This is the next clip, KATC. They're going to, of course, they're talking about Judge Harris, but they're also going to talk about, and I just want you to pay attention to this order that came from the Supreme Court. Now, just listen, watch this.
The state Supreme Court announced it is appointing retired Opelousas City Court Judge Vanessa Harris as Judge Pro Temp. Her appointment is in effect until February 28th. Now, here's what we know about Judge Harris. She received her bachelor's degree in computer science from Southern University. Then she earned her law degree from the Southern University Law Center. Now, all of this comes after the Supreme Court disqualified Judge Odenay from all of her job duties effective immediately. Today, the state Supreme Court approved her motion to go on unpaid leave, not for 3 weeks, but indefinitely. This comes after video surfaced of Odenay and her family making racist remarks. Associate Justice Jefferson Hughes disagrees with today's ruling, and in his dissent, he says, quote, "While I condemn the language reported in the media, at this point, all we have are media reports. I would like to see some hard facts as to who said what and when. The situation did not happen in a vacuum." 2 days ago, we spoke with Odenay's attorney, who confirmed Odenay acknowledges it is her voice heard in the video using racial slurs. To read the full court order from the state Supreme Court and to see our week-long coverage of the Odenay controversy, we have it all at katc.com.
Well, I would have to agree with Justice Hughes. And I've met Justice Hughes before. I don't know if the justice heard the video. All he has to do is look at it and look at her statement. She confirmed that was her on the tape. When she confirmed that was her on the tape, that was it. There is no need for, of course, you can always investigate and see what happened, but she says that's her on the tape. That's what she said. She used racial epithets. Her lawyers admitted it. I believe this was her attorney, Dane Ciliano, confirmed Wednesday that she said the slurs. So this is the order here. Oh, we're gonna go. Let's look at the order, and I'm gonna wrap it up after this because we got to move to our next topic. But this is what the order says here. You can look at it, guys. Go to KATC. Go to this website right here. Y'all see this? This is the order from the Supreme Court. She's temporarily suspended as of right now, on pending an investigation. But this is the order. They can do this. She filed it. Now she filed it. And that's Justice Hughes' dissent. She filed the order to disqualify herself, an interim disqualification. So yeah. Right. Once she's admitted it, that's it. So there's no further need for an investigation. I mean, they still have to do their due diligence, yes, but she admitted it in public. She said it was her. She admitted twice. So I don't see, with all due respect to the justice, what vacuum you're talking about, sir. It's there. But we'll continue monitoring this story. But yeah, it's good that this is karma that's happening to them. Now, let's go to another story, ladies and gentlemen. I wanted to talk about this. I guess we can go ahead and do that. There are no plans, of course. Now, the Biden sexuals will be mad. I'm wondering the people who voted for Joe Biden, what they feel about this. Because remember, he made this a part of his campaign. Y'all remember he made this a part of his campaign. Promise that he was going to fight student loan debt. He got that from Bernie Sanders. And he promised them. I proposed, he said last year. This is the title of, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I wanted to talk about this on Thursday. Now, I'm just looking at the YouTube videos, but look. 11 months ago, the Wall Street Journal wrote this. They said how Biden plans to tackle 1.6 trillion in student loan debt.
By December 2020,
now,
43 million.
I don't own the copyright to this, so I don't know if I'm going to get a copyright strike for saying this. But this didn't age well if you look at it. I'm going to play it. Put that copyright disclaimer up for me. This is for educational purposes.
$1.6 trillion.
This is courtesy of the Wall Street Journal. It is for commentary purposes and educational purposes only.
Joe Biden.
We know that in the 21st century, 12 years of schooling is not enough, and that young people are getting crushed by the burden of student debt.
Democrats want Biden to issue an executive order to forgive some loans if the bill can't get through Congress. But opponents say that would unfairly assist high-income earners while increasing the existing burden on taxpayers.
What's happening is a lot of people are not sending in payments to the education department. About a third of the $1.6 trillion that's on the books currently is not going to get repaid, which basically means taxpayers are going to have to cover that somehow.
So what will Joe Biden do? First, he wants to bring back a policy sought by congressional Democrats early in the pandemic.
The legislation passed by the Democratic House calls for an immediate $10,000 forgiveness of student loans. It should be done immediately.
From there, Biden says he wants to start by revamping the existing forgiveness options offered by the federal government.
There are these programs in place called income-based repayment, and the first of these was actually passed under the Clinton administration. Bill Clinton actually liked the idea of having students actually pay a share of their income each month rather than a fixed dollar amount.
One example of these programs is called REPAY, which stands for Revised Pay as You Earned. In REPAY plans, Anyone who's struggling to pay their student loan can set a new minimum payment that is 10% of their income over $25,000. If the borrower makes these payments on time for 20 to 25 years, the government will forgive the remaining balance of the loan.
Now, keep in mind, this is 10% of your discretionary income. So for some people, it might not make sense. If you're making a lot of money, and 10% actually might be higher than what your standard repayment is. So you kind of have to look at it and see if it makes sense. But anyone can do this. You're entitled to enroll in this program, and a lot of people have. Enrollment in this program has surged.
But there's a catch. The forgiven balance of the loan is counted as income on your taxes.
If you think about it, that tax bill can actually be really high. If it's, let's say you owe $100,000 at the end of that 20-year program, well, that's $100,000 of income. And so that could be thousands of dollars in a tax bill that you face right then and there at the end of your repayment plan.
Biden's proposal changes this program in a way that draws less money from borrowers. The minimum payment rate for these plans would be reduced from 10% to 5% of a borrower's income after their first $25,000 earned. And Biden wants to make it so that forgiven debt won't be taxed as income. Biden also wants to sweeten the terms of forgiveness for public sector workers like teachers, military personnel, and also employees of nonprofits. People in these career fields already have their debts forgiven tax-free after 10 years of public service, but Biden wants to relieve some of their debts on a shorter timeline. Biden has said that the current program isn't working as intended.
There is a program that exists now under the law that forgives student loans for being able to engaging in public service. I'm going to institute that fundamental change in that so it's able to be available to everyone that in fact is engaged. It's not being very well managed right now. So I'm going to do all of those things.
Some say that contractors are to blame for the management issues.
The contractors that the education department uses to deal with students who have student loans have gotten a lot of things wrong. So what you've seen is there have been a lot of instances of where people thought that they were on track to get forgiveness, and then they learned that they're not, and they maybe have to start all over. So this program has turned out to be a mess, and he wants to fix that.
Members of both political parties think that the federal student loan program needs an update.
One of the big differences right now is on the Democratic side, they're saying cancel student debt right now, and then we'll worry about reforming the program. Republicans are saying, wait a minute, the first thing we need to do is fix this program to solve the underlying problems in the first place.
Any student loan debt that's forgiven is covered by taxpayers. Mr. Biden says he'll pay for expanded debt forgiveness by reversing parts of the tax cuts of 2017.
For a lot of his plans, he wants to, raise taxes on high earners and on corporations, corporate profits. So more broadly, he's talked about doing that.
Another issue is who exactly benefits from expanded loan forgiveness programs.
Most student debt is actually held by people who are in upper income households. The Brookings Institution shows that 60% of student debt, so more than half of the $1.6 trillion on the books, is held by people who are making $74,000 a year or more.
But if debts are forgiven, the smaller payouts given to lower income households are likely to have a bigger impact.
Someone calling for canceling student debt. So it shows just how much of a middle-class anxiety this has become in just the past 10 years.
And Biden hopes to relieve that anxiety over the debts in his first term.
Which he's not going to do. Now, let me show you something. I just happened to click on this, but I'm looking at for the Advocate. Now, at first, I know it's not the Advocate is clearly a pro-LGBTQ website. It's the white version of the group, or the root, I should say. I guess that might be a way of calling it, but that's still even white run, just with black face. But this person looks like they're right out of the 80s band. like Huey Lewis in the News. She identifies as non-binary, but I could tell this was someone born a female. They said they took Biden to task. Oh my goodness. I just happened to click on it, just trying to look for the article, and this came up. But as I was just happened to read this, something was interesting that they were saying in it. Biden campaigned on a promise to cancel at least $10,000 of student loan debt per borrower, but has yet to take action, which is true. Some supporters of such a move have urged Biden to do it through executive action, but he has questioned whether he has this power. Well, that's why you have lawyers in your cabinet to look at that. Pages as well. If Congress passes a bill to this effect, he would sign it, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said this week. But look what they wrote here. LGBTQ adults are more likely to have federal student loan debt than their straight and cisgender peers, according to a recent study by the William. Get the fuck. Using data from Access to Higher Education survey, the study found 39.4% of LGBTQ people aged 18 to 14 have student loan debt in the form of federal student loans, private student loans from a bank or other lending institution, or from credit cards or other loans. Let me just.
When I say those student loans are between Joe Biden and God, this is what I mean. In 1972, a 29-year-old Joe Biden won his first seat in the Senate and quickly rose to be the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, the committee that oversees bankruptcy legislation. He personally led the effort to make it more difficult for Americans to reduce their debt through bankruptcy. In 1977, he sided with a group that argued student loan borrowers were just using bankruptcy to get out of their loans, something that had only happened 1% of the time. And in 1978, even though the rest of the Democratic Party told him it would be unwise and unjust, he was one of 3 Democrats who pushed through legislation that made student loans unforgivable through bankruptcy. So the banks started giving out more money and colleges raised their tuition by 400%. The rate of American personal debt rose 2/3 of the last 40 years. In 97, when Clinton tried to cancel student loans, Biden blocked him, to which the credit industry said they consider Biden vital to deflecting pro-consumer amendments. And in 2005, he helped George Bush sign a law that made student loans pretty much never forgivable. So when he says student loan repayment starts again in February, I say those loans are between you and God.
Okay, let me click out of this crap. Now, the reason why I'm highlighting that information that you just saw when they were talking about how LGBTQ are more likely to have more student loans, go through more student, have more debt than their cisgender counterparts. There's a point that I'm making with that. And you see how now sexuality, something that deals with sexuality, is now considered a class, a group, a protected class now. So now this class is suffering more than the cisgender and straight gender. They have it 10 times worse than that. This is the divisions that have just been created, the categories that have been created. This is all thanks to your Democratic Party, ladies and gentlemen. The truth is, white students, you got to remember something. Most of the LGBTQ that they're talking about are white. These are still white folks. Of course, they're going to have student loan debt. They come out with student loan debt just like us, except it hurts us disproportionately because we're the last hired and we're the first fired. And I do want to applaud V. Spear. That was the person's name. I give credit where credit is due because they did their homework. Biden campaigned on this. And guess what? He's screwing over everybody with that. Well, the point I'm making, Quad, is that they're a class now. So you see how they do the studies? Well, they suffer, they get it worse than even their straight counterparts, and they're heterosexuals. Now, there are laws in place, and yes, Congress has to pass them, but he can propose bills as president. He can propose bills, and while it may be, I haven't heard him do anything like that. He hasn't talked about it. He hasn't talked about it, he's not interested in doing it. He never was interested in doing it. And this is how all of you who wanted Sister Girl and wanted Biden, this is what you're dealing with now. This is the consequences. Now, that's not an endorsement of Donald Trump per se, but you went out there, you voted for him blindly, you didn't get anything out of it, you reap what you sow. And the Negroes that were mad with me because I didn't endorse Joe Biden, I called out Kamala Harris because they compared her with Ruby Bridges. You're goddamn right, I got a problem with that. You damn right, I got a problem with them comparing her with Rosa Parks. Oh, Rosa would have fought for this. Bullshit. Rosa Parks went to jail. Harriet Tubman fought. That's the black woman. She fought for our freedom. Kamala Harris would have thrown Rosa Parks in jail because she's a prosecutor. She's part of the system. She's about the status quo. It's not even, let me rephrase it. It's not the fact that she's a prosecutor. It's just that she wasn't about changing anything. She's not. Did y'all forget that she ran against Joe Biden and called him out on his racial bigotry? And then when she didn't have a leg to stand on, she took this position. Now, tie that in, since I'm talking about it, let's go to the next subject. Charlemagne the God, not really the GOAT. Queen Shakur calls Charlemagne the devil. I mean, let me say this. I've heard, shout out to TD Hip Hop. He actually had the video clip or the audio clip of Charlemagne on T.I.'s podcast talking about how Joe Biden was a terrible choice for president and actually done worse to black people. But Charlemagne the God openly talked about endorsing Joe Biden regardless. The go along to get along game, as Kwame Brown would say. But this happened. Y'all got sister girl. Watch, I think she's gonna do the snake. Watch this video.
Joe Biden, Madam Vice President.
Come on, Charlemagne. It's Joe Biden.
I can't tell sometimes.
No. It's Joe Biden. It's Joe Biden. And don't start talking like a Republican about asking whether or not he's president. It's Joe Biden.
Do you think Joe Manchin is a problem?
It's Joe Biden. And I'm vice president. And my name is Kamala Harris. And the reality.
So it's criticizing the president talking like a Republican.
The reality is, because we are in office, we do the things like the child tax credit, which is going to reduce black child poverty by 50%, on track to do that. We do things that are about saying that our Department of Justice is going to do these investigations and require that we end chokeholds and have body cameras. It is the work of saying we're going to get lead out of pipes and paint because our babies are suffering because of that. It is the work of saying people who ride public transit deserve the same kind of dignity that anybody else does. So let's.
Now, they got more to this video. There's actually more to this video, if I can find in the extended clip.
I'm very pleased to have you joining me.
Now, this is where I just want y'all to look at this. Hold on, I'm going to get out of here, but this was on Tariq's, shout out to brother Tariq. This was on his Twitter page, and Charlemagne asked Kamala a legit question, a 100% legit question, and Kamala went into this performative sister girl act as a deflection. I think you saw the head roll of the
Joe
neck.
Biden, Madam Vice President.
Come on.
Y'all saw the neck. I thought I saw the network. Oh, no, you didn't. Oh, no. She had the hands up like this, but she didn't do the finger. I was looking for it. See, She didn't do the finger, so her coach wasn't on. You could tell her coach wasn't there. Her coach wasn't there. But when you do the sister girl, you got to put the finger up. No, you didn't. The neck roll was kind of there. She did a halfway snake on it. Don't you dare. That's like talking about your pastor. Don't you be talking about my pastor. It'd be good. What if she has like a blackness analyst? You know, just like a football analyst, and they're marking up the screen like John Madden, and they're looking at this they're looking at the finger, the action, the head, neck. What she's saying. So, John, what did you think of this analysis of our Vice President Kamala Harris using her blackness in this effort to defend Joe Biden? Well, you see, Harv, she goes right here for the kill when Charlemagne asks that legit 100% question, and she goes with a bam, right, moves her neck to the left, and then boom, right to the right with a finger wave. But she misses the finger wave on this one, but she did raise the hands up, which is something different, but we don't typically say, and that's a touchdown. It's a touchdown. Bam, boom. Let's see if I can pull it up. I'm gonna get a copyright strike if I play the whole thing.
After the pandemic, when I
It's okay.
Now, I know you wanted to speak on the Build Back Better plan too, but it seems like once again, Senator Joe Manchin, you seem to get crucified.
Prescription drugs are too expensive here down. That working.
Okay, so here's the clip.
If first of all,
again,
the living
fair
is too
use.
expensive for too many people. It has been this way even before the pandemic, and we need.
Let me rewind it. Hold on.
The criticism comes from you being a black woman, a woman of color.
I think that there is definitely healthy discussions that I will leave others to have about that, but I'm going to be focused on the work and I will not be distracted.
It's okay to say yes. We see it. It's okay. Now, I know you wanted to speak on the Build Back Better plan too, but it seems like once again, Senator Joe Manchin is stopping progress on that. Why?
Well, look, Build Back Better is something that the president.
Now I want y'all to pay attention. Watch her body language.
It was our original idea. Even when we were campaigning, it's about saying, look, if first of all, if the cost of living is too expensive for too many people. It has been this way even before the pandemic. And we need to bring the cost of living down. So Build Back Better is saying, let's bring the cost of childcare down. That working families shouldn't have to pay more than 7% of their income in childcare. We're saying prescription drugs are too expensive. We know, you and I know, I have family members who have diabetes. It's too expensive to pay for insulin, and insulin is the only thing that can save a diabetic's life. And so we're saying, bring down the cost.
Diet and exercise can also do wonders for a diabetic too. I know.
So that folks wouldn't have to pay more than $35 a month for their insulin. Cost down so people take care of their basic needs without having some assistance, and that means bringing the cost down so people can afford to live and satisfy their basic needs and their responsibilities. So we're going to keep pushing, and we're in extensive talks across the aisle with both folks in terms of Republicans and Democrats, but we're not going to give up on it at all.
But where's the pushback on Senator Joe Manchin? Why is he allowed to constantly hold up President Biden's agenda?
I mean, look, here's the thing that is an important fact, which may sound technical, but it really is an important fact. We have Democrats, the House and the Senate. In the House, we have, as Democrats, a majority, I believe as of today, it's by 3 votes. Out of hundreds of people. In the Senate, where there are 100 senators, we are split 50-50. In terms of the Democrats or independents who caucus.
I'm definitely going to get a copyright strike for Viacom. Viacom, of course, owns about 800 networks that are on television. But I'll just go ahead and fight it because again, it's fair use. It's fair use. So she's talking about all of this. And this is where I want to point out something too, because I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I got to point this out. When YouTube took away the dislike button, and no doubt there are people that will dislike something that just because they don't like a person to spite someone. We have trolls that do that. But to take away the dislike buttons versus the likes, you can't tell and get a census of how good this video is or how bad it is. And it would be helpful because looking at these comments that you see at the bottom is real. It gives you a sense of what direction this country is in. Now, someone wrote, kudos to Charlemagne for being brave enough to hold people we elect accountable. He's right. Why haven't they passed the Voting Rights Act? So he's going to ask her about this.
Every vote matters, especially in the Senate, and we have to listen to the voices who represent their districts. And so that's what we do, and then we negotiate. Some people said we would never get the infrastructure deal done, but we got it done. Some people said we couldn't get the American Rescue Plan done, which was $1,400 checks post, where we expanded the child tax credit. A lot of the way we did that was also informed by the previous work I did to say, people have to pay, parents have to pay the bills every month, so let's get them the child tax credit in payments every month so that they can get through the month. We got that done. Some people said it couldn't be done, but it takes negotiation, and that's what we have to do. Sometimes it is frustrating. Some people say watching sausage get made, you think that's difficult? Well, watching a bill get made, it's frustrating, and sometimes it's just not pretty.
At what point do we stop being politicians and just be real with the American people, Madam Vice President? Because we know Joe Manchin is ruining this country. The stuff he's holding up progress on are hurting people. They're hurting black people in particular. If Democrats allow Joe Manchin to continue to do this, how do you convince black people to come out and continue to vote for y'all? He's holding up progress. We know this.
Hey, Charlemagne, here's the thing though. I think it's a mistake to try and think about this only through the lens of Democrats versus Democrats, when the fact is Republicans are consistently and unanimously standing in the way of progress.
Very true.
Now, okay. Everything is the Republicans. They stand in the way of progress. They stand in the way of stuff. Let's rewind something. Before she was Senator Kamala Harris, when she was still the AG out in California, and President Obama was in office, let's not forget that those first 2 years, the Obama administration the Democrats had control of the House and the Senate. They had control of the House and Senate, and they did virtually nothing. And my issue here is that they continue to talk about the Republicans are holding this up. They're not holding themselves accountable.
That not one voted for the American Rescue Plan. It is my knowledge that we couldn't get them to even agree, not one, to debate on what we were trying, except maybe Lisa Murkowski at some different points, to debate what we need to do on voting. Couldn't get, because of Republican opposition, the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act to get up.
And that's a nothing burger. That George Floyd Policing Act. Listen, I'm done with this, but let me just say this. Anything named after George, there's no disrespect to George Floyd, because I hate what happened to that brother. He did not deserve to die like that. But it would be an absolute insult. I agree with Judge Joe Brown, and I'll say this on the record, to name a bill after a man, a criminal. Not saying that justifies what happened, but someone who's, again, someone who's died basically in police custody in the worst fashion ever. He's on his stomach calling for his mama with his hands behind his back, cuffed, not fighting, not doing anything. When we don't even have a bill or a holiday named in honor of Frederick Douglass. I think it would be an insult to name, because this is who they want as your hero, black people. This is what they want. A Negro that's on the ground that can't do nothing. You're helpless. I'm not saying, again, be clear, because I covered the Derek Chauvin trial. He deserved, I thought, to get more time than what he was served, but I understood why the judge did it, why he was doing it. They were on code. And Charlemagne, you're of a lesser God. That's a good love. Charlemagne, a lesser charge. He knows that it's real. Oh, absolutely. He knows that it's real. They got exposed when they tried to cover for her over the Snoop Dogg Tupac thing. And like I said, it's good if you could see the video, if you could look at comments. The comments tell you everything. But YouTube is on this censoring warpath.
Right with Cory Booker.
That tells you how many. I'm pretty sure the number of dislikes would be about 10,000.
Needs to be, which is, how is it that today, in this year of our Lord 2021 in America, and on some basic issues like upholding our democracy, we can't get bipartisan support, and therefore can't get it through. You go back to Reagan and Bush. There were Republicans during those eras and even before who voted to extend the Voting Rights Act. And now we can't get anybody to stand up and say, this is about our democracy. Let me tell you something. I start every single day reading the Presidential Daily Brief, called the PDB.
All right. Read that brief. I had to turn it off. Now, it would be an insult to name something after George Floyd. Remember when Nancy Pelosi said that George Floyd died for us? She said that right after the guilty verdict came down. Nancy Pelosi said that. That was the biggest crock of bullshit. Listen to this. Remember this. Hold on.
We saw it happen. And thank God the jury validated what we saw. What we saw. So again, thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice, for being there to call out to your mom. How heartbreaking was that? Call out for your mom. I can't breathe. But because of you, and because of thousands, millions of people around the world who came out for justice, your name will always be synonymous with justice. And now we have to make sure justice prevails in the sentencing. But that's, it's its own procedure.
Look at the comments. Thank you for sacrificing your life. Am I the only one that hears how nuts that sounds? No, brother, you're not.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quick Take now for insight in an instant.
This woman is a witch. She goes to the same coven as Kamala and Gabrielle Union. And Hillary Clinton is the grand witch, the high witch. Yeah, one person wrote, I can't put into words how disgusting this sounds. It is disgusting. That's a crock of bullshit. I'm disgusted by what I heard. But that's what y'all voted for, buyer's remorse. And Charlemagne, the go along, get along, he still endorsed Joe Biden. He still said he was going to vote. He couldn't. I can't stand Trump. He still wants to lead black people to go vote for Trump. I'm sorry, vote for Biden. Vote Democrat no matter what. I'm not going to be much further, but y'all hit that like, share, and subscribe button, guys. And I got one more topic for tonight before we close out. Of course, this is happening tomorrow. Closing arguments are set in the Kim Potter trial. She actually testified this past week, speaking about what transpired when she shot and killed Dante Wright. And she even incriminated herself on the stand. Now, watch this video. They break down her testimony. This is a legal expert on ABC News. I'm just looking at it. She's actually breaking down. I'm going to show the video of her breaking down on, this is courtesy of ABC News. And then I'm going to play what a legal analyst said about her testimony. So hold on.
Kim Potter on trial for manslaughter in the death of Dante Wright in Minnesota. Today, she took the stand in her own defense, breaking down in tears, saying that when the traffic stop became chaotic, she mistook her gun for a taser. ABC's Stephanie Ramos has the details and a warning. The images are disturbing.
Tonight, former Minnesota police officer Kim Potter breaking down in court. Potter on the stand. She's charged with manslaughter in the fatal shooting of 20-year-old Dante Wright during a traffic stop.
They're still struggling, and I can see Sergeant Johnson and the driver struggling over the gear shift because I can see Johnson's hand, and then I can see his face.
And you knew Johnson many years before this, right?
Yes.
And looking at his face at that point in time, what did you interpret it to mean?
He had a look of fear on his face. It's nothing I'd seen before. I remember yelling, "Taser, taser, taser," and nothing happened. And then he told me I shot him.
Potter recalling the moments she shot Wright in the chest with her gun that she says she mistook for her taser.
They had an ambulance for me, and I don't know why. And then I was at the station. I don't remember a lot of things afterwards.
In April, Wright was initially pulled over for an expired tag and an air freshener hanging from the rearview mirror, which is illegal in Minnesota.
In your experience of 26 years and being a patrol officer all those years, is stopping any vehicle at any time that you don't know, does that be considered a dangerous situation?
Yes.
Why?
Sometimes there's guns in the car. Sometimes there's uncooperative people. You don't know who you're stopping.
Brooklyn Center police officers discovered Wright had an outstanding warrant for a misdemeanor weapons violation. When the officer Potter was training tried to arrest Wright, he struggled to get back in the car, and Potter fired.
I shot him! Oh my God!
Prosecutors arguing Potter acted recklessly and negligently, regardless of her intent, pressing her about her training in taser use, whether she should have known the difference between her taser holstered on her left and her gun holstered on her right.
We aren't always drawing our tasers from our holsters. A lot of times we're in plain clothes during training.
Okay, well, your policy that you're required to abide by, that you signed off on, requires that you perform reaction hand draws, true?
During the training, yes.
It also includes the reason for that, right?
Yes.
And that's so that you reduce the possibility of accidentally drawing and firing a firearm, right?
Yes.
Potter seen here after the shooting, inconsolable. The body camera footage previously shown to jurors. Today, she broke down again when grilled by the prosecution.
You stopped doing your job completely. You didn't communicate what happened over the radio, right?
No.
You didn't make sure any officers knew what you had just done, right?
No.
You didn't run down the street and try to save Dante Wright's life, did you?
No.
You were focused on what you had done because you had just killed somebody.
Right? I'm sorry it happened. I'm so sorry. I didn't want to hurt anybody.
Stephanie Ramos joins us now. Stephanie, to that last point, the defense claimed that it wasn't Potter's role to call in that shooting.
Exactly, Deirdre. The defense saying it should have been a third officer, Sergeant Michael Johnson, to call in the shooting since he was the supervising officer on the scene. But as you heard there in the piece, the prosecution was really trying to point the finger at Potter, saying that she was reckless and that she didn't notify officers who were responding to the scene about what had just happened. They, of course, saying she did not do her job properly that day. And the defense, as you heard there, is saying that it wasn't her responsibility to do so, to call in that shooting. Deirdre.
Stephanie, when do we expect the case to go to the jury?
So sometime next week. We know that the defense has now rested. The defense and state attorneys will present their closing arguments on Monday, and we expect the jury to make their decision sometime next week. Deirdre.
Stephanie Ramos, thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here.
Joining us now to help unpack the Kim Potter trial and today's testimony is a legal expert, Renata Villalona. She is joining us from Joey Jackson Law. Renata, welcome. Thank you for being with us. Kim Potter gave a very emotional testimony today. The jury will deliberate next week. What do you think will stick with the jurors from Potter's own words?
So in regards to Kim Potter's testimony today, yes, it was very emotional, but to me, it came off as a performance in the sense that it didn't come off as genuine. But then again, I'm not one of the jurors who's going to be deliberate on her fate. So we'll see what the jury actually thinks of her performance. If you compare it to what happened on April 11th of 2021, and that's what Kim Potter was trying to recreate, that emotion from that day, she failed in that sense because she had more emotion on April 11th of 2021 than she did on the stand today. But regardless, the jurors, they are human, and they will take that into account in terms of her crying and her apologies. But it's not about her crying and apologizing today. It's about her actions on April 11th of 2021.
So it sounds like, as you said, if you were on the jury, you would think that she hurt her case by taking the stands. Okay, but you think the jury, it's too difficult to tell at this point?
It's going to all come down to closing arguments because, as you know from watching the trial, there were many inconsistencies in the prosecution's own case. When you have your own witnesses testifying, and that's Sergeant Johnson, that it was appropriate for Kim Potter to even use deadly force in the situation, that presents a big problem for the prosecution. In terms of Kim Potter testifying, I think she hurt herself more than she benefited herself because she was very inconsistent in terms of her demeanor and her believability on the stand. She was very aggressive doing cross-examination. She was trying to hide. She wasn't direct with her answers, and jurors take that into account when determining credibility, especially since she couldn't answer the basic question of when she was confronted with the gun and the taser, doesn't the gun weigh more than a taser? And she said, I don't know, which I think that is so apparent. The deceiving part of that is so apparent. And I believe the jury should be able to see through that.
Now, you've said on this show that there was a battle of the experts on the question of what's reasonable use of force in this situation. Manslaughter, as we know, is about recklessness and negligence, not an intent to kill. So that's a nuance that the jurors really have to think through and sift through. How do you think they are going to process that?
So that's going to be very difficult for the jury to process, especially because it wasn't just a battle of the experts, but like I stated before, the own witnesses of the prosecution said that the force that Kim Potter used, whether it was deadly with a firearm or her original intent of using a taser, was actually called for in this circumstance. However, the jury is going to have to focus on the closing arguments, and I really hope that the prosecutor hones in that you have a woman 26 years on the force, that for at least 19 years, she kept that taser on the left-hand side. And each year that she possessed that taser, she took training. In that training, she signed off on that training that she acknowledged the risk that could happen if you mistake your gun for your taser. So all that training needs to be put in front of the jury and emphasized for the jury that because of that training, she was reckless. Because of that training, she was negligent. And in addition to that, that even through her own basic day in and out going to work, she failed on multiple times even to test that taser, which is required by every police officer who owns a taser. And she had to admit that during her testimony on cross-examination today.
Bernarda, thank you. Bernarda Villalona.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.
All right. So that was attorney Bernarda Villalona. Hold on a second. She said it was a performance. Said it was a performance. It wasn't good. I don't know the difference between a gun and a taser. I would have. Well, here's the thing. The good thing about the American law. You are not required as a defendant to take the stand. There's something called the Fifth Amendment, as you all are familiar with. And the Fifth Amendment protects you against self-incrimination. And the important thing is that they can't even use you invoking your right to silence as grounds to convict you. Well, if you should have testified if you had nothing to hold against you. Well, you can't do that. Jury cannot do that. They're instructed not to, at least, but they're only supposed to go over the evidence. So I think she hurt her case, but she was doing all that crying. And I think the jury is mostly white. But then again, that doesn't mean having an all-white jury or mostly white doesn't mean that they couldn't convict her, because we saw what happened with Ahmaud Arbery. That was so cut and dry, though, because these men hunted that brother. Those pigs hunted him. Those rednecks hunted him. And for her, as a 26-year veteran of the police department, Brooklyn Center Police Department in Minneapolis, to say she didn't know the difference between a gun and a taser, saying they all felt, that might do her in. My personal opinion, Quat. So we'll see what happens. Closing arguments are set for tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. The prosecutor got to bring it home, and we'll see. And the defense attorneys, they just got to raise doubt. Now, before I leave, I'm just having to look at this. Did y'all see this crap? We're in a hood rat generation. This happened at a wedding in Florida. This was going viral. They were surprised when the bride was filmed celebrating her new marriage by twerking on her groom in a backless dress with a thong, sparking a sparkly halter dress with an apron-like front. The bride, with a glittering thong to match, can be seen approaching her new husband, who sat in a chair in the center of the dance floor to give him a sexy lap dance with an audience of guests watching at her reception. The bride swiftly pushes a young boy out of her way before treating her groom to the performance. And this appeared to be choreographed and very impressive dance routine, according to this. Along with the bride, they threw some sexy shapes on the dance floor as they twerked in synchronization to Beyonce's song, aptly named song, Dance For You. That's the percolator. I give the performance a 10. Man, oh God, this generation. Woo! Look, to each his own. But if you got children there, this is my thing. There were children there. Remember, she pushed the kid out the way to do that. Byron B said, them y'all cousins. Nah, that's your, and one of them, that's your cousin. And one of them are your sisters, maybe. I don't know. What? Yeah, I seen that. Apparently, she didn't get that memo, Byron. And he probably saw everything before the marriage too. Remember saving yourself before you were married? That doesn't apply in today's era. Children are having children. That, whew. Like I said, it was a great performance, but would I have done that? If I had kids, if there were even not just children, but even elderly people, even though we know the elderly, I mean, damn, they didn't son at all. Yeah, homeboy, of course he knew what he was getting into, but I'm talking about for purposes of it with the crowd there, with your guests, with children, with your parents, grandparents, your aunts, uncles. I don't think that would have been in good taste. Hell, Lord, if the pastor was there. Pastor probably was throwing ones. All right, y'all hit that like and share and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. I think I gotta do a video on this. I'm due for a couple of videos. Before I go, okay, so I see another thing I want to talk about just right quick. Tariq put this on his Twitter feed, and I'm just looking at this. This father was at a sentencing in court over a white man who killed his son by hanging him and torturing him, burning his body. Excuse me, not torturing, although yes, it was torture, but he torched him. He lit him on fire. On September 16, 2020, the body of Michael Williams was found burning in a ditch in rural Jasper County. Medical examiners determined Williams had been dead for 4 days before the corpse was burned, and he died by strangulation. 4 people were arrested in connection with this murder, including Stephen Vogel, Julia Cox, Roy Garner, and Cody Johnson. Vogel knew Williams for years and was I guess this means charged with his death. They had a typo there. The other 3 people, all white, were charged with abuse of a corpse, destruction of evidence, and as accessories to the crime. The motive for the killing was reportedly linked to a love triangle between Vogel, his girlfriend, and Williams. The state suggested that Vogel was jealous of Williams and had sent Facebook messages days before the murder to a friend about his desire to kill the 44-year-old man. So this was out in Iowa. So it says here 3 people testified that Vogel told them he killed Black Mike. One witness shared that Williams was clubbed in the head before he was hung by a rope in Vogel's basement. The state suggested Vogel was jealous of Williams and had sent Facebook messages, as I stated earlier, before the murder to a friend about killing him. The judge said, "You're why Iowa has life without the possibility of parole. You don't deserve to be on the streets. You don't deserve to see a parole board. You are a dangerous, cold-blooded killer. You have the rest of your life to think about what you did, the loss and pain that you caused, and that precious life that you ended. You treated Michael Williams like he was not human. You clubbed him, strangled him to death, kept him in your basement like an animal that you would kill." The judge offered Vogel an opportunity to say something, but in his defense, but he chose not to. However, Williams' family shared their sentiments in the courtroom and directed their words to the man that took their loved one's life. The deceased father, James Williams, also spoke. He expressed how much he wanted to hurt Vogel. "You burned his body, threw him in a ditch like he was garbage. You're very lucky that I'm holding myself back from jumping over this thing and breaking your neck. So that's the brother that was killed by this Pee Wee Herman looking cocksucker. Yeah, this piece of shit needs to. I can't say what I want to say. But hypothetically speaking, if this were in the setting of Yellowstone and I were Kevin Costner's John Dutton, I would say take that piece of shit to the train station. And you know what that means if you watch the show Yellowstone. That's hypothetically, fictionally speaking. But yeah, truth is coming out to the light. Yeah, that's all it is. It's a textbook beta male, as what Sean James would say. Now, I happen to find this ugly ass white man to be a beta male. And he should have read my book, Stop Sending in Cyberspace, as well as The Man Crisis, so that he could avoid this. I can see Sean. I feel sad for that father. He showed tremendous strength not going over there, because somebody did that to my family. I'd have to be in prison with him too. Just my emotions, but you know, I'm glad that they will never get their loved one back, but justice was served, at least in that instance. So, having said all of that, ladies and gentlemen, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Please, if you can, donate to the Cash App at the links at the bottom. Gavin Richard Esquire. We got PayPal, Google Pay. Thank you, Black Voltron. We also have Zelle, which is the 504-289 number that you see here. You look at the ticker at the bottom. Please go to that. Also, we showed you the Patreon, the email if you like to advertise with our channel. And you can go and pick up your Anointings, CreoleBlends.com. Order some before the holidays. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Anointings goes great with every dish. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I need you to go ahead and download some songs that we have on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. I need you to go and actually get those songs like Video Soul. That's the latest song that I have available. And we also have Gotta Get On Up, which is our theme song that is available on Apple, Spotify, and Amazon. So you can buy those as well. So with that being said, you all have a blessed night. We'll be back Tuesday, and I'll holla for $1. Peace.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, because on the dance floor is where we'll meet. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the...
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be.
Feel the groove, get on the floor.
Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor.
Get on up, baby. Yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up, baby.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Good night, y'all.